In today's episode, I'm going to attempt to show my wife how to train our dog. How hard could this really be? And we really have to get this puppy's barking and separation anxiety under control. You know what the problem with the world is? There's not enough really good dog food. And I'm serious. Nom Nom has taken it upon themselves to create home-cooked food that's optimized for your individual dog so that they can live the best life possible. It's nutrient-dense, it's freshly made, and it's the most ultra real dog food I've ever seen. They ship the food right to your house frozen. I'll usually take a couple of bags out and put them in the fridge to let them thaw overnight. You never have to worry about over or underfeeding your dog because each meal is perfectly portioned for your individual dog. Try it out and see if your dog likes it. Of course they're going to. But to make it extra easy to try, Nom Nom's going to give you 50% off a 2-week trial at my special link, trynom.com/Zak. I'll have that link in the description. Now let me see if I can teach my wife how to teach our dog.
Do you think I should take her off leash
Yes.
for this training session?
I do. Yeah, we have a controlled environment. If we can't get her staying with us voluntarily during this lesson, then we're doing something wrong. Like the lead shouldn't even matter for a lesson like this. This is a clicker. There's a button right there. See that? And look at this. That's what it does. This is a very neat, effective way to get a dog listening to you rapidly. I'm gonna give that to you because I'm gonna be tempted to do it. You're gonna do all the training.
Yeah, I'm gonna try because this is my dog.
I mean, for this lesson.
Yeah.
You keep trying to claim this dog.
I mean, I picked her.
I know, that's
found
true.
her. We're one person now, I guess, because we're married, so we can share her. Congratulations, you have a maybe Chihuahua mix. Her DNA results are almost processing.
Okay, clicker training.
I'm so excited.
All that clicking sound is going to mean to Veronica is good. I like that. You get something good. So why can't we just say, good dog, or yes? Well, we can, but you might find, especially if you're a beginner, though you can be a seasoned pro and use these, I use clicker training all the time, that it really helps you improve your timing. It puts you in a position like you're on a game show or something and you can be like, oh, that's it. Oops. For clicker training, it's probably a good idea to use something a little extra special, and we're using some really good tasting treats.
Can you wake up for treats? Maybe?
Here. Yes. And see, that's what I've been doing. And she's learned yes means, hey, I get a treat. That artificial sound is extra attention getting. And with a dog that's so new to learning how to communicate with a person, it can be a very definitive way to say, I'm talking to you right now. To load the clicker, all we have to do is click and follow it up with a tiny treat that tastes really good.
Look, like this. Ready? Mm-hmm. She was surprised. I maybe should have done it farther away from her.
Good note. But I think she's okay. Just because some dogs, it can freak them out.
Good girl.
Right now, we're not asking them to sit. We're not asking for anything. All we're trying to do is communicate to them that that click means they're getting a treat. That's it. Nothing to it. The natural impression, if you're not familiar with clicker training too, is that you use it to signal your dog to do something when actually the click occurs as your dog performs a desired behavior.
Yeah, it doesn't signal them to It doesn't signal them to do something, it signals that they did something right.
And I see your instinct just kicked in because as she went down, I saw you do a more purposeful click to mark the down, which was excellent timing. This is what's wonderful about clickers. They can really help you pinpoint an exact moment in time, if you will, and your dog learns, oh, that made the clicker go off, and it's really attention getting.
Yes, she looked at me.
Yeah, she seems to be making the connection. Usually within like 10 or 15 or 30 clicks, they get it. Maybe 32 if you're a dachshund. Now you're ready to start marking behavior you want to see repeated in the future. We're already ready to do it.
Look at me. Yes.
So you're saying, look at me. I've been saying here. I like the shortness of here since I asked for it so much. That's cool. She can learn look at me. She can learn here. I don't think it'll be confusing.
Veronica. Yes. And her name. I feel like her name means look at me too.
And yeah, exactly. And I heard you sneak in a yes with the click too, as if to say, hey, these kind of mean the same thing.
Yes. Oops. All right. Veronica. Yes.
You're good at this.
No, I'm not.
It's natural to want to click and treat at the same exact time, but having a delay between the click and the treat is probably more advantageous to you because your dog learns, okay, it might take a second, but I know I did something to trigger the treat-giving sequence.
I think she's doing really well with look at me. Can puppies do rollover? And if so, that's my request.
You want to do rollover straight away? Can we just, let's...
With the clicker.
Really, play dead is basically a half a rollover.
Will you do that one? Can I trade with you?
Whoa,
Or
you want me to do it?
Yeah, I think so. I want to see the difference.
Oh my goodness.
I'm calling it
what?
audible. This treat was twice this big when I started. She's so small.
Right.
I've been taking like a crumb of it.
Yeah, that's right.
So.
And it
just wanted to
works
say.
because it is true. You do need to be conscious of extra calories with your dog. You want to take it into account with their food. You don't want them to have a diet based on treats either. That's why you keep them special and small and good tasting. I've been continuing to use some of my favorite training treats by Pupford. The reason I like them so much is because they're made from real freeze-dried meat and veggies, so they're obviously really healthy, and more importantly for our purposes, dogs love them. And you'll see how I continue to rely on Pupford's amazing chews and rewards for dogs too. So if you've got a puppy, or really a dog of any age, I think you're going to love Pupford's products. I'll have a link below. Okay, I'll take the sit. It's interesting how she started to go into a down, and then I clicked and she froze as if to say, whoa, I did something. She couldn't be in a more awkward position to teach rollover to.
It's like her hips are one way, but then her shoulders are another.
See, I'm not like putting her, luring all the way on her back. I'm just going slow. Yes. Good. This is one version of Play Dead. Yes. And in essence, yes. Good job, very good, well done.
Yay.
In essence, I'm really also clicking for following a lure lets you get a little nibble of this treat. Because I have the lure right at her nose and I kind of release a tiny bit as she continues to succeed. See, so I liked all the moments there. Ultimately, my favorite play dead is where they're flat on their back, like that. And see, I'm not restraining her. That's a really important point. That's the fastest way to freak a dog out with something like this. Good girl.
You're so smart.
I'm not going to really focus on saying roll over or play dead right now. I'm really just in these early lessons focused on getting her to go through the motion. And see what I mean though, but having the clicker like this, it really teaches you that there's so many smaller moments that you can reward, which can really get you to where you want to be faster.
Silly.
I like that she's crawling there. See, even you can do spontaneous clicks as well. Anytime you like what your dog is doing. So here I just happen to have her in this position where it's easy to get her to sneak up on it.
But that's not confusing?
I don't think it's confusing because really, even though we're teaching rollover and play dead, we're also having our first real luring training session with her as well. Mm-hmm. So we're also kind of teaching her, hey, following the lure like this is going to give you access to the thing I'm luring with. And this is how the hand signals tend to get introduced. So like, you know, in the short term, I would like my hand signal to be this rather than right at her mouth. But right now I got to be right at her nose and encourage her to go. Good. And so now you might also notice I'm clicking a little bit less because she's starting to get the picture. So I don't have to be like click, click, click. I can be like click, click, click. The way that I have approached clicker training in the past is I will use it a lot during the first 6 to 12 months of training dogs. Once communication between you and your dog starts to come into focus and they can really begin to differentiate when you're talking to them versus talking to another person, I tend to phase it out, but there's no rule saying that you have to phase it out at all. In fact, maybe it's even better not to. I don't know. Yes, much less effort that time. Let's see if we can teach her to exit from over here, this position. So good and okay, good.
Yeah, all the way.
Keep this on your wrist.
Yeah.
Use it.
I will.
Training sessions like we just did are great, but the real world happens all of the time, and it's just as important to know what to do when the environment around you changes unexpectedly. I'm out here playing some frisbee with the dog. And hopefully dogs at some point. We'll see if she likes it. But we've got someone putting on a roof over here across the street. And I mean, construction sounds and banging and things like that, that's a real common thing for dogs to get nervous about. So we have that added benefit here of being able to desensitize Veronica to these sounds. If you want the best trained dog possible, look for random opportunities to expose them to new things like this and see what you can do to get them acting normal and having fun. Specifically, if you can get them playing their favorite game, like fetch or whatever, then that's a pretty good idea. Meanwhile, Bree has been doing a great job of getting out and giving Veronica extra exposure to the world every single day too. It's really amazing how many interesting things you can find right outside of your front door, no matter where you are.
We were walking down the levee and I noticed Veronica started to get a little nervous. So I looked around and would you believe it? It's okay. Good girl. It's normal. She's just an umbrella. Hello. I don't know if she's ever seen an umbrella before. Good girl. See, that's normal. He's friendly. Good job. She barely had time to take in that umbrella and then a bike was coming past too. Look at that. At least she did better with that one. Good for you. You're being very brave. You ready to keep going? Let's go. Come on.
We continue to get so many unexpected benefits every time we take a walk. She experiences something new every time she goes outside. Plus, there's the obvious benefit of getting some of that energy out too.
Last night was rough. Zak has successfully had her in the crate overnight a couple of times, and last night was my first night trying to be in charge of having her in the crate, and I really wanted to do a good job. And man, it was so hard. It was so much harder than it seemed for Zak. I'm a very patient person, and I know the night is only so long. Even if I wake up all the time, the night will come to an end. It doesn't feel like that when it's the middle of the night. It just feels like never ending. And how can this be happening? And how are you still not going to sleep? I really want to cuddle with her too. And so I'm like, man, you want what I want. We both want this. I know I shouldn't take you out, but I really want to. I held strong and she did spend the whole night in her crate, with the exception of a potty break. I got like 2.5 hours of sleep. And so now I'm a little worried because I'm going into tonight. Now I'm tired. I really love this puppy. And she's clearly stressed out when she's crying like that. And so I don't want to just make her be stressed. I want to make sure this is for a proactive purpose. We've been testing her during the day and she's been good for long periods at a time, several hours sometimes. And Zak has succeeded overnight almost flawlessly. So I was like, okay, it's night 3 of her doing this. You've had 2 fabulous nights. He's like a miracle worker, and apparently I don't know how to work miracles because it was really hard for me.
We have to weigh her diminishing stress over time. Like, ideally you'd like no stress, but since it's slowly phasing out, I think we're on a pretty clear path to be successful at this. And the reality is, in our life, there are going to be periods of time where she needs to be alone in a controlled environment. Like if we want to go to work, if we want to go to dinner or hang out with our friends or whatever.
What am I gonna do?
I guess I can help. Do you want me to help you? This may be a good example of where a dog is contextually figuring out how to behave around each individual person. So maybe if she continues to think that you're likely to let her out, as we have done liberally in the first many days, both of us, and then I've just been the first one so far really getting her to just chill.
I'm not sending the clearest message. I think you're right.
Well, why don't I sleep downstairs tonight? Man, the predator danger with this little dog is very real.
They're eagles.
Juvenile. We have to stay aware of this when we're out in the real world.
Man, that's scary.
And something tells me as this series goes on, that's going to continue to be a very real challenge that we have to deal with. There's danger everywhere.
Oh man.
So I have been tasked for the rest of the day with getting Veronica comfortable with being in her crate or being in a controlled area, I'll say. That's really the most important thing. Sometimes though, when I walk away, that's when her anxiety has been arising, but it's been getting a lot better. Let's see what happens here. Let me switch the cameras. And see, this is what Bree is talking about. She gets really anxious. So what I'm doing is I'm making sure that every time she barks like that, I'm not going to advance towards her. Rather, in moments when she's quiet, I'm gonna walk towards her. We've been really trying to strike the right tempo with her. But see, the more that goes on, the tougher it makes our job. Good. And I'm only saying good because of the quiet there. And since she's still being quiet, I'm going to advance towards her. I'm gonna hang out over here for a second. Relax. Okay, I was really hoping she'd settle down there, but now she's sitting instead of barking at me. That's an improvement. My prediction is That's a good sign right there. Usually when she runs into the crate, she's like, there's stuff to do in here. And she's been lying down just for the last day or so. We'll see if this continues. But see, so far, hypothesis supported. Those outbursts kind of come in waves. Then she's like, oh yeah, I've got food over here. And again, we're gonna test. She's just looked up at me. All right, so perhaps I should try and do something halfway, not so far away. Good. There she goes. Such a curious monkey. So I'm just going to hang out. I'm going to move the bed a little bit farther away and kind of find the sweet spot. See what happens. Thanks for being a good girl. This used to be you, you know. We know she most likely doesn't have to go to the bathroom. She's had a lot of exercise. She's getting her dinner right now. Well done. Good girl. See? So there's been a couple of waves, and then she returns to being good. I'm going to stand up and walk around. Oh. Right there, as I stood up, she started to have another wave. Then I sat down, and she's like, let me think better of that. When she's being good, I'll stand up and kind of walk towards her. And my goal is to kind of walk around in the same area here, maybe? See how that goes? That way I'm not just walking straight away from her. Hey, I'm testing just like you guys would have to. I mean, really what you're seeing here is me brainstorming on ways that I can encourage her to de-escalate on her own. Now, this can be particularly tough to do when a dog is having an episode like this. By the way, I wrote 2 whole books on troubleshooting common training issues like this. I'll have links in the description. Sweet girl. Hey, good. Good girl. That was really nice. She liked the acknowledgement. You're being a good girl. Since she's being calm, I'm going to make this behavior really work for her and give her something that she's likely to value. In other words, frantic barking gets her nothing, but quiet gets her something great. So that kind of gives you a taste of what I guess Bree is dealing with. I think if we give it a little bit of time here, she's bound to just settle down and relax and adjust. I think she's just a little amped up right now. I've given her a bully stick to chew on. It's not so much that you're just trying to distract them, though I guess you are to a degree, but you're also teaching them how to do something they enjoy in their own space and that they can be independent. They just don't know they're learning that yet. They will find value in being alone as they get older, hopefully. What do you think? You do really well when you're alone. She just moved into her crate, which is a really good sign, and I've been noticing that. That's her pattern. That's when she starts to settle down for real, at least as of recently. But, you know, things change, and puppies' behavior is always changing. Just because they establish a routine one day doesn't mean they'll keep it the next day necessarily. So you look for those changes because they happen a lot with young dogs especially. They're still learning how to exist in their own skin, you know? There's a fine line between ignoring them and trying to be compassionate and let them know that you're there and you're going to take care of them.
This has been many minutes now of her relaxing, and I'll expect her to probably get hyper in a second, but hopefully not. During one of these waves, she's actually going to fall asleep. My goal is literally to accumulate minutes with her being in an enclosed, safe area without being overly stressed and actually be comfortable. And I count sleeping minutes.
All right, I have to go warm up the toaster oven. Okay. Oh, it's already on. Good. Just making sure. That's good, though. I was able to come over here, able to be farther away. I'm going to walk around. I really want Veronica to be aware of me in the background, moving about, being closer and farther away from her, while she's also being content simultaneously. Walking over here. Good job. So I did a lap around the house. She's still hanging out. Where are you sleeping tonight? You sleeping down here with me or upstairs with Mama? Inertia. It's bedtime. All right, let go. I gotta get the puppy to sleep. Thank you. We're getting there, slowly but surely. Outbursts like this don't go away all at once. We're looking for her anxiety to get less and less over time, and you can see she seems to be less frantic now than she has been in the past. I'm getting the feeling that she might actually settle down for the night soon. All right, well, it's fully dark now. She seems like she's pretty comfortable by herself in her sleeping area right now. I'm gonna go upstairs. She's nice and relaxed. Night, gorgeous girl. And the saga of Veronica's separation anxiety is complete. Yeah. Just kidding. We're going to have to show you a few more tricks from our playbook before we're through with this one. And to try the best dog food I have ever seen, go to trynom.com/Zak and use discount code ZAK to get 50% off a trial of Nom Nom. Check out Pupford's training treats and chews in the description, and subscribe to my channel. Follow us on TikTok and Instagram, and if you like books, check out my books too. I'll have all the links below.